And now I understand why you guys are on the perches. Because you have to be situated.
Yes. We're elevated out of power.
Superior. It's the patriarchy.
That's it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Gogh-Getters podcast. This is number 6, and we're so excited to have our guests here today. April 10th is the opening of the Kimberlyn Renee and Alex Johnmeyer show at Sacred Grounds with the Gogh-Getters. Thank you guys for being here with us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're so welcome.
And no pressure, but you're our first guests.
We might be setting the bar low or high.
Oh, it's going high because I'm pretty sure everyone listened to the last 5 of our podcasts are saying, what are these guys doing? I don't think they know anything about podcasting.
It's been great while I've been driving in the car listening to you guys, or when I'm painting, I just put you guys on and it really helps me pass the time. I'm just like, it's just like hanging out with you guys, you know.
It's so sweet. Yeah, you told me that when I saw you at the Webster Arts, and you told me that you listened to us while you were painting. That was so generous of you to tell me that, and just like made me feel pretty cool. Like we have more than one listener now.
Yeah.
Me and Kevin.
Kevin is my brother.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's get started. Just, I think I'd like to have you guys introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, just very briefly, because we have lots of questions for you.
We do.
Oh, I was going to rock, paper, scissors you for it. You want me to go first?
Arm wrestling.
You're supposed to be the seasoned veteran here.
I'm Alex Johnmeyer. I've been painting, since I was like 12. Doing it professionally now for 17 years. I've lived in St. Louis for 25 years. And I would say I've been heavily involved in the St. Louis advocacy and community scene, doing nonprofit work, gallery work for the last 11 or 12 years.
You do such a great job at that too.
Thank you.
I think when I first met you, you were just really eager to get to know me, and I'm just like some knucklehead Yahoo at 31 Art Gallery walking around.
I'll verify
You're like,
that.
Who are you? I want to know more. Here's my card. We should hang out. And I was like, who is this person? I love them. I need someone like that with me all the time.
I know. I just like, for me, every person is an opportunity to like get to know who they are and what they create, and like how can I help the people around me like to make the most, to like, take advantage, if you will, of like our surroundings as a community, as a city.
Right.
Like that's kind of like how I move through every aspect of my life, you know.
That's fantastic. Kimberlyn, tell us a little bit more about you and how you and Alex first met.
Oh gosh.
Oh, I love talking about that because Alex is one of my favorite people. But I'm a little bit newer to the art scene. Obviously, like Alex, I've been a fan of art my whole life, but kind of let my family and everybody tell me, oh, you got to go to college, get the degree, have something to fall back on.
Yeah, that sounds a familiar story. I had the same story.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is fun. I loved school. School was fun, but I went to Mizzou, got my degree in business and marketing. And then after that, just kind of spent a couple of years kind of putting off getting like the real adult job before I realized that, art was the thing I wanted to do full time. So I've been doing art. I first showed in a gallery for the first time, 2023. And then about a year later was kind of when I started doing art full time. So I'm still.
You got the bug.
Yeah. Oh, it's still fun. It's still
3 years now.
3 years. Yeah. Math. Yes.
That's the perfect segue into this next question. How does a young person with a business degree from Mizzou decide they're going to be an artist? Which we love, but I am just curious I think and I always think about like my short career as of now, in kind of like different light bulb moments. And I think the light bulb moment for that was, I'd never heard of Soulard Art Gallery, was very familiar with Soulard as far as the bar scene was concerned, but had seen that a friend from high school was showing in Soulard Art Gallery. And I was like, oh, I'll go check that out.
and everybody there was so friendly, and it was kind of that moment like, oh, this is something that like I could do. And I went home, and it was kind of serendipitous because the next call for art there was the Pop Goes the Easel show, which is like right up my alley. So I went home like that night and applied. And so, but really, I mean, I guess like in business school, like I loved the school aspect of it. I loved learning. I was good at school. But just kind of looking around at my peers and classmates, I just felt like I didn't really fit in. Like I didn't operate on the same kind of level as far as, it's very competitive in the business world. It's very, just not my scene.
Mm-hmm.
So did you just pick up painting? How did you learn to paint?
I mean, I'm pretty much self-taught. I did take like high school art classes. But I guess acrylic painting, I kind of got into probably like sometime in college, but for the most part, up until then, it had been kind of just illustration and pen and ink or whatever.
Your Copics, your older Copics that I thought were fantastic. I was like, girl, this is what you can do with Copics? Holy crap.
Yeah, but they don't, they're probably so faded by now. But yeah, I found acrylic painting and just, and looking back at some of my old acrylic paintings, it was a learning curve for sure. But yeah, it was fun. And Alex keeps trying to get me into oil, which eventually I will do probably. But
peer pressuring you.
I'm excited to learn. I'm just a little afraid.
It's no big deal. It's just paint, right? It's just color.
But it's just
substrate on, and that's all. Yeah. That's how I like to think of
I
things.
think it's a constant learning curve.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It really is.
And then we met so her first show at Soulard was Pop Goes the Easel, and I was the judge, and we did not know each other. We had not met, and I saw her stuff on the wall, and I was like, who is this? And so I gave her an award her first show at Soulard, she won an award.
That's great.
And I didn't know her yet. And then her second show, I was like, wait, I remember this girl's stuff. I can't give her first place again. And so then I give you like seconds.
It's like, well, yeah, they had a weird, it was.
Yeah.
Can you recall that painting at Soulard? What was it?
The first one was the David.
David.
Yeah.
And
then the second one was the Lucky Charms.
And I had no idea at the time that.
What drew you into it? What drew you into that painting?
Well, as many people have noticed that Kimberlyn and our styles are similar. And I really loved her. Like, it wasn't a textured painting, but she did such a great job of creating like that oat cereal, like, the marshmallow pieces and the oat pieces. Mm-hmm. And I loved her use of color, the surrounding purple area. And it's fresh in my mind because of last night. And we talk on the phone like at least every other day or something.
Yeah.
But that piece, I did a painting of Lucky Charms, 10, 12 years ago or something
Which
like that.
I totally did not know at the time.
And so I was like, this person sees my soul. We are Lucky Charms siblings. and so so then at that show, I was like, okay, I need to like know this person. And so and Kimberlyn brought this sweet little handwritten card and a bottle of wine. And so I texted her. I found it on my phone the other day because I was like, how long have we been friends? And I went back through my messages on Facebook and that's when we like actually became like basically inseparable ever since then. So it's been.
Well, and I don't remember, like, I remember there are two distinct times I remember that it was like, oh, we were like actually friends and hanging out. And it was the day that, and one of my favorite Alex quotes, which just speaks to how amazing Alex is like, oh, write this down. Like Alex
I just heard that one in the car when we went around the block.
My love language is, write this down. Because I have memory issues. So I need to write everything down. And so I just assume everyone in the world has memory issues as well. And so I'm like, write this down. This is important. And so like, I'm not trying to sound like, bossy, but I'm just like, no, really, this is important. Write this down.
But it was his, so yeah, he brought me over to his house, which if you've ever seen his in-home art studio, I'm so jealous. It's beautiful. And he basically, like, I had my notebook and just filled it with pages, like listed every gallery in St. Louis, like every opportunity, every art thing that I needed to be involved in. And I remember at the time, because after that, the first couple
I
shows.
was maybe a little intense, a little.
No, but I love it was me. I was like a sponge just soaking up. Like,
Right.
and I remember going home and being like, this like amazing, like talented artist, like wanted to take the time to like just, you know, walk me through, like, I don't know, like my first show, I didn't even know to wire a painting. And it just meant so much to me that, like, you know, he wasn't asking for anything out of me. He just wanted to impart kind of what he's learned. And then the second time was, again, I think it was after that, because
We hung out at Wall Ball, and I felt like at Wall Ball we like really connected. I was like, no, really, can we be? I want to be friends. Can we be friends? Like,
well, and then it was the one weekend that Alex was like, okay, we're gonna go on like an art field trip. We're gonna go to like all these galleries, and we went, and that was the first time I saw Carrie's show at Coca, and then we went to like 31 and Dwayne Reed and all of these, and it was so fun. Which actually, that picture of us is from,
we took that at Square One, right?
Yes, but I think that's that weekend.
We were very pretty.
So.
Yeah, I took a really cute photograph of you too before I even really knew you well at Carrie's show at Coca. I'm like, oh, look at that. That's nice. And it's like Carrie's work. It's like, and who knew you're sitting in front of this right now? This is fantastic. It's
I gotta see. I've never seen that. I'll have to
find it. I'll tag you on it. So maybe I'll even put it in this podcast.
With approval, please.
Yeah, right. Of course. It's in your writer.
So, Alex, tell us how you learned art. I read that you used to go to Art Mart, ask questions.
Yep.
And you use your experience as a cake decorator to help you.
Yep.
That would make sense given the heavy application.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I took I listened to Steve's podcast today on the drive here, and I took art classes all through high school, all through middle school, high school, and a few years in college, and then I was a cake decorator for 3 years. It was a lot of fun. So I'm a Wilton School certified cake decorator.
Yes.
And I also worked at the bakery at a local grocery store. But I would say mainly what I took from that was like learning how to use piping bags, learning how to use palette knives. And so then years later, after I decided that I wanted to pursue art as like my career, I had this woman, she was a West County mom, and it was one of my first commissions. She's like, so I want you to make a painting about death. And I'm like, okay. So she was a writer, and she's like, I want to walk into my office and feel compelled to write about death and murder. And I'm like, okay. And like in my brain, I was like, I need texture. And so, I went to Art Mart, and Keith and everyone there was just so lovely. And I was like, okay, guys, how do I do this? And they showed me all these different texture products. And then something in my brain just like clicked. And I was like, this is exactly like frosting. And so then I started like going to Schiller's and like using different products that are typically for model train tracks.
Yeah.
Like moss, and there's like fake aquarium rocks that looks like gravel, but it weighs nothing. And I started putting that in the light modeling paste. And from there now, the last 17 years, it's just this continuous ball of like that keeps rolling down a hill. Like I just bought something from, did I say Latvia or Lithuania?
Latvia, I think.
Yes. It's they're like sheets of fabric, so it's not like
not muslin.
No, but it's like they're fabric and it doesn't crack. You can move them and then you can paint them, and I'm like, oh. So I have planned like this painting of sad bananas, and I'm going to use this stuff. God. Anyway,
right? Did
I answer the question?
You did, Steve. It's a piping bag.
It's a piping bag.
It's a piping bag. We call it an icing squeezer.
That was our technical term on our call today.
So
icing squeezers.
Not all of my paintings are textured, but I really have enjoyed like different methods of creating that depth and dimensionality in my work.
There's a lot of color and pop in your work and yours as well. And I think that's kind of like from a painting subject matter, it's how you guys really vibe. And I think people are going to see that in the Gogh-Getters show in April.
We're not afraid of color.
No, which is I love that. I love using color when I paint myself, but it's curious. I'm wondering, like, from that pop plasticky aspect of some of your work, and we can maybe talk about the Ken doll or Potato Head, whichever one you choose. We spent the evening when I went to go see your show in the On God Hotel. You walked around with me. Another generous act of kindness by Alex.
Did we link arms? Because that's also something I do.
It was magical. I remember magical happening. But you just taking the time at your own show to walk around with me to show me your work and explain everything. And I was just blown away. And just how deep you went into the paintings. And the surface, you see toys, right? Mm-hmm. But you go deeper than that. Mm-hmm. Can you maybe just walk us through the Ken doll painting, for example?
Yeah.
And is it titled Ken doll?
No, it's called Let Me Spell That Out For You.
I love that.
So I'm gonna describe it, and you said that hopefully people at home will be able to
they will see it,
be looking at what I'm describing.
We'll place it on our YouTube channel on the video.
So for those of you who may not know me, I'm a queer and transgender man, and I came out as trans about 13 years ago. But it's something I understood about myself from whenever I was about 5 or 6 years old, that I didn't understand that boys had different parts than girls, but I knew that I did not. Why am I on this side of the gym with all the pretty people when all of the other people are over there? Like, I understood the division between boys and girls, but I didn't quite understand that I'm like, wait, that makes me a girl. But so I understood that there was a difference. And so, like, some of my earliest memories of, like, realizing my gender was whenever I was playing with my cousins at my grandma's house, and they made me be Princess Leia and I wanted to be Han Solo. And they made me, I wanted...
Probably because of the equestrian boots. That's why I would want to.
And like, I loved He-Man and Skeletor, and they made me be the princess again. And I'm just like, this is some bullshit. But growing up, everything was very gendered in my experience and my childhood. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to, make a painting expressing that story. So my third solo show was at the On Good Arts Hotel. The entire show was about my journey as a trans man. I've been on testosterone now for 5 years, and now I have passing privilege. I look like a man. People treat me as a man. But for the first 8 years that I identified as trans, I very much looked and read as a female, maybe a female with short hair, but I was still treated and read as female. And so that painting, that was my first oil painting, was the Ken doll. I taught myself how to oil paint for my solo show. And so,
listen to that, Kimberlyn.
Write that
down.
So I understood that I felt like a Ken and not a Barbie. And I put the banana sticker to, like, represent perhaps Ken and I are both smooth fronted. And the car for me represents trans sexuality, and how perhaps a lot of people aren't comfortable with trans people's sexualities. And, as a cute, attractive little trans boy, people, need to think of me as like, oh, I'm cute, but not take my gender and my sexuality seriously. So it's a pink 68 Cougar. But I feel like, especially, like, cars are seen as this, like, masculine, performative, like, thing. I love cars. Especially retro vehicles. So anyway, the large BOY blocks, growing up in the 70s, I think in the 60s and 70s, in our nurseries, we all had that BOY or GIRL. It was just a common blocks that you would see in almost every nursery. And so when I made this painting, I was just starting to be read as male, and I was still getting misgendered, and I was still being dead named, and people were calling me she, her, and people were confused, and they're like, someone we know called me a she, he to my face. And so I made this painting. There was a lot of anger, but also the solo show was a celebration of, like, who I am and who I've worked so hard to become, and my community. And so I named the painting, let me spell it out for you, because whether or not other people perceive and treat me how I see myself, I know who I am. So no, and it was a great attendance. I had
was a wonderful
It was
night.
yeah,
amazing.
I had
There was a lot
500
of
people at the
That's a
on dive.
fantastic show.
And
Thanks for sharing that story with us.
Thank
by the
you.
way. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
well, thanks for creating a space where I feel safe
Absolutely.
to tell that.
Yeah.
Kimberlyn, let's talk about some of your subject matter.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Candy, cereal, animal crackers, bubblegum machine with Swedish fish,
Those all sound
and
familiar.
a lot of fluorescent colors. And do you want to talk a little bit about the black light room?
Yeah.
The glow in the dark? Because that's pretty cool.
Well, and now I understand why more artists don't work with black light paints, because it is a pain to try to exhibit and show. As in my experience so far, no gallery will agree to have one of my black lights with my painting.
Turn
So
off all the lights in the gallery.
but we might have space coming up that might be doing that.
Yeah.
So I started out with the UV blacklight paint, and that kind of I don't know where I got the idea or got it in my head that I wanted to do that, but it was around the time that because up until now it's only been recently that they've really come out with some higher end like UV and glow in the dark paints. And so it was like around the time that Liquitex came out with those. And I was like, I want to try these out, because it just reminded me of those, like, from my childhood, like you go to the back of Spencer's, like you're too young, but you want to go see all the weird stuff in the back. And they would have those black light posters, which of course, have been around since like the 70s. But, I tried that out, and I've been doing that. I love the fluorescent colors. I've been kind of shifting more towards glow in the dark paint, because I realized not everybody's a weirdo like me and has a black light at home. But I was trying to figure out a way so the galleries wouldn't show them, but the fairs, I could do whatever I want. So I was trying to figure out a way to show those in outdoor fairs that are typically kind of like mostly during the day. And so I got this, I don't know what I think it was
Dressing
from.
room.
Yeah, it's basically a dressing room, and
It looked like a little phone booth kind of.
Yeah, well, and it's blacked. Well, and I had to black out the top because it was supposed to be a dressing room. It was supposed to let natural light in, and so I just kind of set up. They're like outdoor camping lights that for whatever reason are black lights. I don't know why they would have that for camping, because those attract bugs. But and so people seem to really like it, especially kids at the fairs. This one little boy went in, and the curtains are not quite long enough to like go all the way down to the ground, so you can kind of see like people's feet. And he had closed the curtain, and I kind of paid attention because I don't know what kids are doing in there by themselves. And you could just see he sat down and just sat there like in silence for like 15 minutes. And
what a moment.
Yeah, his parents were mortified, but I thought it was the sweetest thing that he just wanted
that's
to.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had that here at this art fair.
Yeah, I had it.
And Schlafly.
Yeah, anywhere that'll let me. I don't know if I'll take it to Art on the Square. I don't know how well that'll go over, but it's fun, and it may be a little gimmicky, but anything that's a little gimmicky or causes people to kind of do a double take, I feel like it is a win in my book.
It's memorable.
So,
Yeah, I think my initial reaction is, wow, that's really clever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun, and it was different that it was also an outside art fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I still need to kind of revamp it because it does get really hot.
Right.
That's the only problem.
I just a quick question. It's not on our sheet, but you were just saying that you felt like it might be gimmicky, and it just made me wonder. I'm a graphic designer by trade, and I'm in business, and I use my creativity to sell products or ideas or healthcare, and I'm always making sure that I'm communicating to really the mass public. And then when I do my art, I try to figure out how I separate myself. And I'm wondering if like your Mizzou business degree is, or maybe the question is, it's not has nothing to do with this. How do we free ourselves up from those hangups? Is really the kind of the question. Like how do you try to separate yourself from giving a shit what the world thinks about whatever you want to make?
I think it's because there's also a lot of I don't know if the right term is like cognitive dissonance, but there's definitely a different, like you want to present differently to like fine art galleries, and then you want to present differently to, you know, people at fairs. And I was talking to somebody, I think it was Molly Chenard, who's done like a ton of fairs. And I always say, oh, my emotional support Molly's going to be doing this fair with me, because she's just been so helpful in kind of learning the whole fair routine. And I was like freaking out because I had applied to Art on the Square on a whim, like kind of as an inside joke to myself, because I applied with paintings of blow-up dolls and did not expect to get in. Got in off the wait list, and I was like, Molly, I don't know what to do. This is my second year doing fairs. And she's like, who cares? You already got in. Like, you're not there to impress the judges. You're there to sell art to people. And so that's kind of, I think fairs especially are kind of a way to kind of get past that hang up, because just having the magic of that moment, like connecting with people. It doesn't matter what, you know, a fine art juror thinks. It matters that this 12-year-old kid spent their allowance money on a little mini painting of mine. And that's kind of what I live for. So anything else kind of just fades into the background.
Do you, both of you are involved in STL Visual Network. Do you want to talk about that? Did you start that?
Yeah. So a fellow artist in St. Louis, her name is Arlena Holtzman. 11 years ago, it was 2015. So
You just posted like the anniversary.
The 10 year. Okay. So it's officially 10 years. It started as like these really casual small meetings in the break room of Art Mart. Keith would have let us use the space, this little studio space at the back of the store. And it's literally exactly what we're doing now. What we're doing now is a lot better run. And, but back then it was basically just like a very casual, like, here's all the call for arts coming up. Let's all just get together and hang out. It was a group of us, usually about 20 or 30 of us. And we did that for quite a while. And then we made the Facebook group, and now 10 years later, we have 7,000 members, and, our monthly meetings meet at Green Door Art Gallery on the third Tuesdays of the month from 6:30 to 8:30 or 9, depending on how late I want to stay there. But Kimberlyn is one of my admin that helps me run the group, and our friend Tom Daly and Martha Valenta and John Salazzo. But I don't have a board of directors. I have no funding. And I decide what I want. And so sometimes we do workshops, we do panel discussions. We recently had a retired psychologist come, and our friend Tom Daly, he was a counselor. They talked about mindfulness as artists. And then we do show and tell. So each artist gets to bring a work in progress or a finished piece and talk about their work. We did a very, very popular one was, we had a panel of 5 professional art fair artists came and gave advice. And we had like 40 or 50, 40 people show up, or 50 people. It was 40. It was like 40 because I ran out of chairs. I have enough chairs for 30 people. And we had like 40 or 45 people. And I was like, oh crap, I need more space.
Well, and you kind of stagger because the show and tells are my favorite, but like every other one is show and tell. And then we kind of ask people like, what do you want to learn about? Or like,
it's a democracy.
It's because Martha did the about website building too.
Yes.
And so
that was really well done.
Could you give an example of show and tell?
So like each person brings a painting or a sculpture or, and gets 8 minutes to talk about their work. So and Mark Witzling, Pete Walliger came one month. I would say we have about 100 different people
kind of rotating
that come and go, but we have consistently between 20 and 30 people that show up every month. So, and it's just become a really great community. Honestly, I just really enjoy it.
It's really picked up in the last 2 years.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and especially because now people don't really have a single place to go to look for, okay, where are all the St. Louis calls for art? Mm-hmm. So that one, not only the online thing, but like at the end of every meeting, you're like, okay, everybody share. Does anybody have calls for art, new galleries, gallery openings, what's going on? And so it's kind of cool to get
because between all 20 or 30 or however many people attend, like you kind of get more knowledge than you would, just trying to research on your own.
Yeah.
At the end of the question, or at the end, are there questions after the 8 minutes?
We let people choose if they want constructive criticism or if they just want to share, because not everyone is in a place that they would like other people's opinions about their work. So we make that very clear. We're like, okay, are you just here to show, or do you want feedback, or is this a conversation? Like, because I've learned that some people get their feelings hurt if they're not ready for that kind of engagement or feedback.
Yeah.
So,
it has been all very like, everybody's so kind and constructive. And it's never been like people tearing each other down.
No, of course. We're a pretty nice community, right?
Yeah.
So let's plug it hard. You find more information about this on Facebook, right?
It's called the St. Louis Visual Artists Network.
I'll put a link everywhere we talk about this thing.
Yeah, it's
really important.
It's a public group.
Yeah.
So,
and you just made an Instagram too. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're on
you
Instagram.
guys are going nuts.
Yeah.
Slow
I
down.
That's all Alex. I don't do any of the work.
I finally made an Insta, and the only thing on the Insta is literally when the meetings are. That's it. I don't post any of the openings, any of the calls, any of the grants. I don't post anything else. It's just when the meetings are, because I'm like, I can't. I have a whole team of like 10 people to help me run the Facebook group. I'm just doing the Insta by myself.
What's the Instagram handle?
STL Visual Artists Network.
Cool. Everyone needs to follow that.
Yeah.
Kevin, he'll follow that, right? Great.
Steve, is Green Door right by Euclid?
Yeah, Green Door
to the right of Euclid.
So I don't know if I even told you this. I worked next door to Green Door.
Euclid Records.
That's what you were talking
That's
about.
what
And I feel like horrible that I haven't come into
So now
this.
you know who to talk to
right?
when you want to show your records at that.
I eye that every time I drive by that place too.
Just saying.
Yep. All right. I wrote down actually the third Tuesday of the month
Yes.
at 6:30.
Please come. I would.
Yeah.
I will.
Make
a
love if
point
you
of
all
that.
came.
We
I
should
would
have a Go-Getters meeting. Like you guys can
I'll
talk.
sit there talking in front of everybody and tell everybody about what we do.
They would
love
be-
a featured speaker.
All I know is
Absolutely.
the people in Gateway East think, I always hear, they think very highly of you guys. They know the name Go-Getters.
We got them fooled. Absolutely. No, I actually just joined the guild, by the way,
Did you?
for the first time, and I don't know how long I've been doing this.
I think the meeting
I'm not
is tonight, but
right.
they're a good group
That's
too.
an interesting topic too. I'd like to hear about. Like, Kimberlyn, you're Illinois.
Mhm.
I
Alex,
thought you were Kimberlyn, you're ill. And I'm like,
no,
rude.
Is that still slang for like cool though, or is that outdated
Ill.
now?
That's cool.
We have 3 Illinois here and 2 St. Louis.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
you're from the
Chris
Missouri
Ford.
side.
Yeah.
So you
Chris
guys are
Ford.
outnumbered, I guess.
That's right.
Well, welcome to
Arm wrestling time.
welcome to our side of the coast.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. When did you move to St. Louis?
25 years ago.
Nice.
2000.
And you love us enough to stay.
Yeah.
Appreciate you for that.
Yeah. It was here or Seattle.
Ooh, that's
my
a tough
husband-
choice.
Yeah. Whenever my husband graduated, he was working at Boeing. They made an offer for Seattle or St. Louis. And we were like, well, if our parents get old and die, let's be close by. And then both of his parents died. So we made the right choice.
Yeah.
My parents are still alive. So,
Right.
But anyway, we like it here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
What was your question?
I don't know
Illinois.
where I was going.
St.
I was
Louis,
just
the
the
arts
idea
guild.
that we have Illinois and Missouri side
Yeah.
artists.
Well, and I was like a West County girl, and
Okay.
then I was a Washington Avenue girl, and then we moved here. So it's I've been all over the board, but
right.
most of the art stuff, other than you guys in Gateway East, like Belleville, most of the art stuff's in St. Louis. I find
We feel
myself
that
over
too.
there.
Even being over here, most of the art stuff is over in St. Louis, but
Elysian.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
trying to beef it up. We've been trying to beef it up around here for decades. So
Mhm.
Well,
That's
I
okay.
appreciate it as a newly Illinois transplant.
You are both resident artists at Green Door,
No, Artisans in the Loop.
Artisan Loop. Okay.
Yes, yeah. I've been a resident there for 5 years, and Kimberlyn, I finally got her to join. She joined. I had nothing to do with it, but now she's a resident artist.
Yeah, how long? I guess December.
yeah.
So
Yeah, but no, we really love it. Working with Allison and Renee Bozarth
Yeah.
has been. It's like I almost in my home bar, but it's my home gallery, you know?
That's great.
And I'm going to be a juror. I'm going to be a judge of a show coming up in June there. So
The nostalgia show.
yeah, the nostalgia.
I'm excited.
How do you become a resident artist at that gallery? Or
I
it's the
think you
same
can
with,
apply-
with Green Door too, right? Is that the same thing?
Oh, well,
It's a little bit different, right?
Their
They're both a little bit
website
different.
has an app. Are you asking like how to apply?
Yeah, just general. People don't want to know.
I'll let you answer.
I'm curious about the process.
They do. They have an application form on the website, but I always tell people like you might as well go in and like introduce yourself and talk to them. But
And that's artisans, right?
yes,
Yeah.
and then I
Yeah.
know nothing about Green Door.
Yeah, Leah is the owner of Green Door, and she has an application, but everyone that I know was personally invited to become a resident artist.
I applied once and didn't get in. Maybe that's why I haven't stopped by. But no, I'm changing my mind.
What did you apply since Leah?
No.
Okay,
Previous owner.
you should come meet Leah. Like Leah, like,
I should like
Vic and
next
Michelle
door, I should
were
stop
really
by,
great,
right?
but I like, you know, did a guest spot with Vic and Michelle, and like, but Leah and I, like, she's so sweet and like groovy and like flowy skirts, and you know, like she's my vibe. I love her.
That's cool.
I love her.
And she lets me come and go with the Visual Artists Network like as I please, which is great. She doesn't charge us anything to be there either, so I love free. But anyway, but no, yeah, I would say like any artist, emerging artist, you know, that's wanting to become a resident artist somewhere, do your homework, talk to other artists that, you know, have been there a while, figure out, you know, if it's a pay to play, which means you are paying a fee to, you know, you're paying them to be in the gallery, or
Are either of those two a pay to play, as they say?
So that both galleries you pay a wall rental fee.
Yeah.
And then there are some galleries though, like 31, where, you know, Jared asks you to be a resident or feature artist, and it's just a commission
Fee,
split.
right.
There's no, you know, you don't have to pay to be there. So, you know, there's different galleries kind of operate differently. And like Dwayne Reed, it's a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
So
You have speaking of judging, you have a big one coming up in 2028.
yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So the Foundry of St. Charles, Jessica Manisi and Hilda, they asked if I would like to be the juror of an exhibition in 2028 at the Foundry.
The juror.
Yeah.
Not a team of jurors. You're
No.
the only one.
I'm going to be the curator, the
Nice.
juror, the judge. I am.
Ooh.
So it'll be an LGBT exhibition, and I get the whole place. Like, so she and I, we had our first sit down to make a plan, and she's very excited and receptive. And she told me my budget, and I'm wanting to pair with local nonprofits, LGBT nonprofits here in St. Louis, to make it a fundraiser to, you know, for those nonprofits. And so I have like a big old plan up in here, and because I've been a curator for like 12 years, so with different organizations. So I'm really excited, and I'm very honored that they trust me to take over the Foundry.
Right.
I've always found putting together shows are as rewarding as being in. Do you guys feel that way?
Well, I have yet to curate a show.
Do you want to do that?
I do, but
Because Juan needs a break. You know, if Juan, you know, we take Juan off the, you know, you can curate our shows.
I
Be guest
literally
juror.
just talked to
Okay.
AC about
Juan said
she
no.
texted me. I was like, because Alex always, this is another quote from you to me, is like, you need to start saying no to things. And I was like, oh, I really want to like curate a show. And Alex is like, do you have time for that right now? I was like, no, I don't. You're right.
I'm like in the fall.
So I was like, okay, that is on the plan. I would love to, because I think that would be fun for me. I always love, you know, seeing other people's art and to be able to kind of like mix and match the puzzle pieces. I think that would be.
Yeah.
Well, that's the perfect segue into the next question. You were really busy in 2025. Can I go over? Let me know if I'm wrong on this.
The rap sheet.
The
Did you get this
29 different exhibits.
What?
13 art fairs, 12 galleries, featured on Fox 2, won seven awards, City Museum. Some of these galleries and places included 15 Windows, Soulard Art Gallery, Schlafly Inside outside art, Edwardsville Art Fair, Queenie Art Fair.
Yep.
And then you've had a pretty busy start to 2026.
I'm trying to think what have I done this year?
I'll help
Masters
you.
in Motion.
Saks Fifth Avenue, Art Fusion, Schlafly Insight.
Yep.
And I don't know if I'm missing anything, but those were just some of the ones I jotted down. And Gogh-Getters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, write that down. April 10th through
When
June
is that?
14th.
Yeah.
So you've been very busy.
I just there's some quote, what is it, the Dark Knight, where the Joker's like, I'm just a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught one. And that's kind of what I feel like I'm still in the stage where everything's fun and I'm like trying out all the new things and trying out the new galleries and just having fun with it. So
Well, I think one of my favorite things about both of you is not only do you go to your own shows, you're so supportive of other people.
Yeah.
I learned that from Alex too. I did.
Alex, you are the best at that.
Stop. Art is literally finding a life / work / art balance. I don't know how. Like it's all the same to me, and my husband loves me. Going to galleries is fun, but yes, it's work. But it's fun, and like she and I, we like sync up our calendars. We're like, okay, when are we going where? And we're like, okay, we're going art hopping. Like, and it's not work when you're doing it with people you love,
Right.
And like all of our friends, there was someone recently that was like, we're all there. We're promoting ourselves and expanding our networks and hopefully making connections with customers. But it's also, for me, it's just like, hey, there's Pig. Hey, there's JT. Hey, there's Carrie. And it's a lot,
Well, being an artist too, like, there's when you're in a show, you definitely you notice who shows up for you and who doesn't. And so I never want somebody to feel like, they weren't supported or they weren't encouraged by other artists in the community. Mm-hmm. So I think it is important to go out and show support. So
yeah. Well, and you need somebody to take pictures of you looking cute everywhere you go.
I only look cute because I have to leave the house to go see art.
I'm a professional photographer for everywhere we go.
Alex, you've mentioned your husband. You want to talk about Patrick a little bit and Zoe?
Sure. So Patrick Johnmeyer, we met on the first day of high school when we were 14 and in English class. And then I saw him again at lunch and we sat together at lunch and then we became best friends and we started dating when we were 15 and we got engaged when we were 19. We got married when we were 21 and we've been married now for 26 years. Wow. And
that's awesome.
So we've been together for 32 years and our daughter is 19 and he's so supportive and sweet and he's definitely an introvert. He's kind of shady. He's kind of like, he'll be like, I don't like that person. And I'm always like, no, they're fine.
He's a good judge.
He is. And I'm like, damn, if Pat doesn't like somebody, I need to just trust Pat's instincts because he's always right. Because I always want to just believe in the best of people. And he's like, I don't know about this person, Alex. And I'm like, no, it's fine. But no, he's my best friend. He's a computer programmer. He's very, very creative, but very analytical, very logical, but we work really well together. We balance one another. I know people say, I couldn't imagine my life without him, but like we've grown up together, not all couples can you like grow together in the same ways. And we've always just like walked the path together and my coming out as trans, I was like, okay, can you use they, them pronouns and start calling me Alex? And he's like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, can you start using he, him pronouns? And he's like, yeah. And like, it's been a slow, and now whenever we go somewhere and somebody's dead naming me or misgendering me, like, he's like, and I'm like, no, they didn't know. It's cool, so but does not fight my fights for me. He and he loves Kimberlyn. Like he just
He's a good judge of Kim.
Right.
Yeah, he loves her. So no, yeah, I don't know what else to say.
He's a good
I
cook.
met him when I was walking in the Central West End. It was either with Juan or Mike, my friend Mike, and I heard you call my name. We were going to Square One for the first time. And I met, and we talked to you guys on a corner right there, and that's where I met Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. He's my person. He's my favorite person.
Kimberlyn, what about you? Significant other?
Yeah, I got Tim. He's Tim. We've been together. How old is our dog? We have a child. He's a giant Doberman. Yeah, we've been together like 7 or 8 years. We met because I could outdrink him doing shots of Jameson. I was the only person who probably loved Jameson more than him. And now he will drink when he goes golfing, but neither of us really like go out drinking a ton. We're kind of, he says old and boring. I say distinguished. But he is definitely not an art person. He supports me, supports my art career. But he will make do, or he will put on a good front, like, and go to the galleries and then play on his phone in the Mac, the whole time. I dragged him to some exhibit at the art museum one time, and it was like, I think it was the Monet, or like they had a Van Gogh or something. It was like a special exhibit, and it was like a Sunday, and it was like, hushed tones, like you're in a church because everybody's looking at this gorgeous piece. And he comes around the corner and he goes super loud. He goes, "Honey, I found where the nudes are hanging." And everybody just.
I like this guy.
Oh, he's something.
I like this
Is he
guy.
coming to the Go-Getter show?
I told him he
You
should
like
be.
the Go-Getter show.
He's friends with Huck, and I was like, "Honey, Huck showed there," because I feel like.
If Huck does something, then Tim's
Yes,
aboard.
it's a one-sided competition. Huck doesn't know this goes on, but I'm constantly having to compare myself or measure myself by his standards because, Tom or Tim and him are pretty good friends, and we have Tom's the only other artist that Tim is allowed to hang art
He
in the
came
house.
home with a gigantic Huck and plopped it on the dining room table.
It's still sitting there, and I keep yelling at him. I'm like, "Honey, we need to get this on shirt, and we need to get this framed." Like, it's rolled up in one of.
She was so mad. She's like, "There's this giant Huck on my dining room table."
But yeah, I was like, "Well, Huck showed there," and so he's like, "Oh, so this is like something cool." Okay, so he should be coming.
I hope so.
So we also talked about Alex's studio. What's your studio like?
A mess. It's
Most of them are.
It's a home studio. I have a very unhealthy attachment to my dog. I did have to put up a gate now, so he just stands outside the gate to my studio, looking very sad. But it's just, yeah, home. I don't even know if you can call it a home studio. It's just
You paint at home, therefore it's your home studio.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, I've thought about, trying to get a studio space outside of that. But I'm like, I kind of like not leaving the house and working in my pajamas and
Right.
letting the dog out when he needs to go out. And
Why spend the money, to be honest?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. I think if you're comfortable there and your puppy's comfortable there, why not?
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yep.
Do you have a question?
No, I don't have any more
Okay,
questions.
I will ask you a couple more. Alex,
Ah.
this is quite an accomplishment.
Oh, what?
Voted best artist by STL Magazine in
What?
2021.
That's
I can't
true.
believe, first of all, that's 5 years ago. That seemed like that was yesterday.
Yeah, that does not feel like 5 years ago.
that was the only time they did that too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm still the reigning king. So no one else has replaced me. So yeah, I was voted best artist in St. Louis by St. Louis Magazine, and then and it was like, I still can't believe it, and so many people like really rallied for me,
That's great.
which was really just unbelievable. And then I was given an award by City Hall by the Recorder of Deeds, Michael Butler,
Nice.
for being the queerest artist. for my advocacy work for the St. Louis art community and all the work that I did with the Metro Trans Umbrella Group in my career and being visible as a trans artist. And that was such a huge honor to be given an award and like at City Hall. Like, it was pretty crazy.
And you were one of the top 3 for the Art Fusions doing a STL Artist of the Month.
Yeah, I made it to the top 3, but I knew Brian Walsh was going to win because I'm like, Brian runs Paint Louis. Brian's got this,
right.
and I knew he was winning. I was really, because Paint Louis is a huge event and such a great opportunity for so many muralists and graffiti artists, like
right.
all over the nation. People come from like other states to be a part of Paint Louis. So I was like, I thought it was really fitting that Brian won, that first month. So maybe somebody will nominate me again, but I
I want him to win more than he wants to. Like, I'm like, okay, next month. We're gonna.
No.
What is the permanent installation at St. Louis U Hospital?
So during COVID, SLU was building their new campus, and this interior decorating team paired with SLU, and so the campus, like the hospital, is themed around basically the botanical garden, like the different themes and colors of the flowers. So each floor of the hospital is a different part of the botanical gardens. So they reached out to me and asked if I was interested in doing some commissions for the new SLU hospital. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, so can you make 24 paintings in 6 months? And I said, no.
24?
And they said, oh, they're like, well, how about 12 paintings in 6 months? And I said, no. And they're like, I said, you don't seem to know me or my work. I am incredibly detailed and very slow. And I was like, I can do 6 paintings in 6 months.
Steve and I would have said yes.
Yeah.
To 200.
That would have been done.
So I have 6 paintings at the SLU hospital, one on each floor.
That's great.
And Kababi and I were given the most physical wall space. And then there was an accompanying coffee table book that was printed, and Kababi and I each have 8 pages in that book.
That's wonderful.
So all the other artists have 1 or 2 pages, and Kababi and I have 8 pages. So I'm like, if my name is on the same list as Kababi or Jarvis or then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm doing okay,
Absolutely.
But no, it's really, it means a lot to me that to have my work at some of the hospitals around St. Louis. So, people take
any permanent installations. Think of the words permanent installation.
Yeah. No, I have a painting at St. Louis Children's Hospital on Kings Highway.
That's awesome.
And people they're like, hey, I saw your painting. I took my kid to the doctor. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but thank you. But, it's nice to know that maybe my work can make kids or parents smile during a difficult moment at a hospital. So, but
that's really nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is a new subject. We currently have 2 plein air painters in the Go-Getter show.
Lon is one of them, right?
Lon Brower.
I know Lon.
And John Denhouter. Lon's kind of local. He's from Litchfield, lives in Granite City. And John's local from Edwardsville, teaches at SIU. But it's more about the plein air thing. And your friend Henrik, he's a plein air painter. I would like to hear a little bit more about Henrik. And tell the listener, Kevin, a little bit more about Henrik.
the listener.
Dear Kevin. Henrik moved here from the UK. He lived here, I would say about 30 years. But he was an award-winning plein air painting. But I would say more significantly, he was very active in the plein air community, but he was more famous for his portraitures. He worked in oil, very bold, expressionist style. And I know for me and a lot of artists here in St. Louis, Jared at 31 being one of them, a lot of us really considered him a mentor. I guess part of my
origin story was I would spend a lot of time at Koken Art Factory, and Henrik's studio was at Koken. And I would, when I was curating Naughty Gras, I would go up to Henrik's studio and eat lunch with him, and he would offer me coffee. And that friendship, so Henrik and I were friends for 17 years before he passed away.
and he asked if he could paint me. So I sat for him for 9 weeks for 3 hours at a time. I went there for once a week for 9 weeks, and I did not move. He wanted to make a painting of both sides of my gender. So me dressed in masculine clothes and me dressed in feminine clothes sitting side by side together on his sofa, and like representing like the duality, the fluidity of my gender at the time. I was still identifying as non-binary.
Mhm.
But so people who come to my house now, they see that painting and they think that it's a painting of Patrick and I sitting together. They don't realize that both people in the painting are me. But no, Henrik was just so sweet and kind and humble and gentle, but so hardworking and passionate. Art was his life. He painted. If he was awake, he was painting in his studio. And, you know, he always told me, he's like, work smarter, not harder. And I was just like, you make it look so easy, and I'm not you. And, you know, he, much like Jared, he was very mindful and purposeful in his brushstrokes and where to put the detail and where to let the background just let it go. And he painted so many well-known, you know, models and other artists and activists and members of the LGBT and the burlesque community, the drag community. And he painted quite a few of the cakes around St. Louis. He was really good friends with Rich at Soulard. His studio was at Koken for a very long time, but then the last few years he had a studio in Soulard. He was just one of the pillars, I would say, of
one
the
of the
St. Louis.
sweetest people I've ever met, and one of the most talented.
Yeah.
And he's the coolest guy. He'd come into 31 and he didn't tell you what he was doing. He wanted to know what you were doing.
Yeah.
And that's just how he was.
And always wearing those cargo shorts covered in paint. So I was part of a team. I was the curator, but I was part of a team of people who put together a memorial exhibition to honor him at Art Fusions. Davide let me come in and hang the show, and I organized, you know, talking and finding as many of his paintings. So we coordinated with people who already owned his work, and we had 32 paintings in the exhibition.
Were the collaborations with Jared in that?
Yes. Yeah,
Those
Jared,
were fantastic.
Yeah, Jared made so pieces that Henrik did not finish before he passed away. Henrik took them to his studio and then finished them, quote unquote, collaborated with those. And then, so those pieces were part of the exhibition. And Jared gave a really lovely speech as part of the memorial, talking about how Henrik influenced him and what Henrik meant to him. It was, you know, I was crying. It was really beautiful. But
Yeah, he's such a great guy.
he was. Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for sharing that with us. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, Kimberlyn, I talked to you about this on the phone the other day. Steve, you probably feel this way too. I won't use the word older artists as us, more experienced, or maybe a little bit more experienced. But I think one of my favorite things as I've gotten older is to see a young person like yourself, so passionate, so talented, and you have everything in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the record portraits. Could you talk a little bit about those? I mean, that relates to a lot of what I do. And I can talk music all night. We can go right now. Let's.
Oh, God. We could do a whole podcast episode on that. But the vinyls kind of started out as kind of my own little pet project. Somebody, one of Tim's friends working on something, he used to own the apartment buildings off of Wash Ave right across from Huck's old studio. And they had been clearing out the basement and found a bunch of old vinyls. They were all kind of just junker records, like old like gospel songs. And I Googled all of them to make sure none of them were like, you know, expensive. But he was like, hey, you're kind of artsy. You could probably you could paint on these. And I was like, that it's actually a good idea. And so I kind of, they originally started out as just kind of decor for my house. I think that the first one I did in 2019, and it was a Jim Morrison. And for the longest time, even when I started showing in galleries, I kind of kept those at home for myself because it was really hard for galleries to want to show those. Like they kind of saw them as like glorified fan art almost. Like they didn't really see the value in it as fine art. And there were two, like, again, I always see like my art journey and kind of light bulb moments. And there were two specific light bulb moments that kind of changed the way I thought about them. And the first one was at Sig New World in Las Vegas a few years ago. And this was before we became friends, but I was walking by this like art exhibit, and there was this awesome like hand painted System of a Down drum set. And I had to do a double take because underneath it said St. Louis artist Jared Minnick. And I was like, who is this? I gotta find this guy. And actually the other day I realized 31 Gallery had been saved in my favorites on my Google Maps for years. It never went until Alex brought me. But that was the first time that I was like, okay, so this is like, it was with punk rock and paintbrushes. And I was like, that's really cool that they do this. And, you know, it gets auctioned off and it all goes to charity. And then the second one, not to lay it on too thick, but seeing your show where you walk in and it's just all, you know, music themed art was like, okay, so this, you can make this into something that feels like a little bit elevated, like a little bit more like fine art. And I have been able to show some of the vinyls, in a couple places around St. Louis, but I feel like they tie into, you know, my identity as a pop artist and also my love of music. And I like painting, you know, certain like music icons or bands because almost like just seeing the impact they have on other people, because music is such an
I noticed some of them are in sections of 4.
Yes.
And then some now are just 1.
And I did that because the groups of 4 are really expensive to get framed. But also I realized not everybody has like space in their house for these big 4-piece records. But I do need to get, once I, you know, maybe sell a couple and have space on my wall to hang more, I'll probably do some more of the big 4. But I like to kind of save those for like musicians who I feel not deserve it, I guess, but ones that really kind of mean a lot to me, or I think are hopefully like unproblematic also. Because like going through all of and it's kind of a moral dilemma with me. Like how much can you separate the artist from the art? Because even like, I think it was in Steven Tyler's autobiography, but I was like, oh, even Bowie has some skeletons in his closet. Like really? Like Bowie? But then if you don't paint any of the people who were like wife beaters or like abusers or whatever, like there's nobody left from like the 70s. Like, so it's hard for me to like Ozzy. I love Ozzy. Ozzy's one of my favorite. And then, you know, I guess Amy Winehouse is one of the newer musicians, but she felt very much like before her time. And so like her and Kurt Cobain and Jim Morrison, the ones that kind of like died too soon, just felt like the kind of obvious ones.
You told me a funny story because I asked you about the labels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you said that you find more beat up records and repaint the labels because somebody was accusing you of damaging.
Well, it started out because I can't like the ones, you know, the first ones I did, I can't afford an original Doors vinyl, and I sure as hell would not paint on it. But and it is funny because I'll post on like, you know, different subreddits or different Facebook groups, and it's funny kind of seeing the difference in different like fan groups. And the ones that really came for me were the Megadeth fans. They were very mad that they thought I destroyed a $500 I think it was Rust in Peace was the record, and which I took as a compliment because I was like, cool, my fake labels look believable.
You worked really hard on that one.
I think I saw some Slipknot in there too.
Slipknot is, and I know everybody, metalheads, mask metal is so cringy, but Slipknot's one of my favorites.
They're really awesome, and I just I love everything about it. And again, I could talk music.
Yeah.
I could talk
long
records all
time.
day, so we probably should stop.
Well, if you have any recommendations, I'll write them down.
Write them down.
Steve, do you have anything else? I'd like to.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to wrapping it up soon, right? We've been here for a while. We can go
let's
forever.
start with Alex. What do you have coming up? It looks like Gogh-Getters.
Yep.
Flowering Artist Festival.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Small Works with Dwayne Reed.
And 31.
And Let Them Eat Art.
Those are all true.
Art and some judging.
Yes. I'm going to be judging at Artisans in the Loop and Elysian in Alton, and then Webster Arts also. So I'm going to be judging 3 shows in 3 weeks, and all in mid-June. I'm like, they all ask me independently, and then I'm like looking at my calendar, and I'm like, okay, every Friday night for June, I'm going to be judging a different show around St. Louis, which is pretty cool. And I still can't believe that there are people who like want my opinions on things, but I'm like, yeah, you're going to pay me to give you my opinions? Fantastic.
Right.
But no, it's really, I'm really thankful that like people seem to respect and like appreciate my advice and thoughts on St. Louis artists. I don't know. It's still very surreal. Yeah.
And you
You
seem like
earned it.
you really love that. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
I was just going to say you earned it. I mean, you've put in the effort and you've
Thank you.
put in the communication and the connection with everybody in town. So it's that experience has rubbed off on you, and that's rubbed off onto other people as well. So
Yeah. I really enjoy it.
it's not a surprise anymore.
And
Still
Dwayne's,
surprising.
Dwayne's show is 16 by 16.
Yes.
Everybody that's in it is 16 by 16.
Yes, all pieces have to be 16 by 16 inches. And there were artists who were pre-invited, that were hand chosen by Dwayne and his curators. And then there were artists who were I guess you could say maybe open call, but like suggested by artists who were already in the show and who were, given the opportunity to submit proposals. So, the deadline was yesterday. So I'm very curious to see who got in and what the work is going to look like. But they've done this show now, the Small Works Invitational. They've done it twice, and they line the wall of the gallery. Ethan and Quinn do an amazing job installing every painting 16 by 16 inches.
They're really
spaced.
close together.
Yes.
It's very cool. I went to the one a couple of years ago.
It's a really impressive hang job and very well attended. So
our friend Maxine from 31 was in that.
yeah.
Yep. Kimberlyn, based on your 25 and 26, I'm guessing that you have a lot coming up.
I don't know if I could keep up with. And I told you this the other day. I was like, I don't know how I did that last year. I was like, I don't know. If
I told you.
What do I have? What do I have coming up? I keep stressing about stuff.
That was funny though. I'm walking around a couple art fairs I didn't even know you were at. Carrie, and then I turned around and it was you. Camille and I we'd come over and talk to you.
And I think the next day Juan was, which that's what not to sidetrack you, but that's what I love about you guys is like, I don't think I've ever like talked to at least all 3 of you in a group together. Like it's always like one of you will pop up at an event, but it's cool because there's always like a Gogh-Getters presence.
I would say that Juan's the really good one about going
so
to
much better
all the shows.
Yeah, I'm the worst. Well, maybe Dave, but I'm the worst at going to shows. I'm just shy and
you have a little bit. You have a little bit going on.
I see you all the time.
Not all the shows, just like some of the shows. Like that I force myself to go up to.
At Alex's show at Angot, I was there and I left, and then you and Shauna came, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
Thank you.
That was a great show.
So I got, I'm trying to think what I got.
You have Art on the Square.
So yes, I have Art on the Square
Let Them Eat
in Belleville. Well, I don't know if I got in. I applied.
Oh, shut up.
You will.
Are you going to do here again?
I'm hoping I'm going to apply. I loved, that was a
You
really
should
good
do
one.
that. For sure.
I love Edwardsville.
And then we have
But
Figure
it's-
at 31.
Yes. So, and I am really excited about that because ever since I first stepped foot in 31, I was like, this is my dream gallery. This
It was
is
my
so
goal.
cool.
I'm like, I'm getting you in 31.
So that'll be in July, and then Webster Art Fair is in first weekend of June. I think that's
it is first things I get that are set in stone for now. But
I
Tell
just,
them about the mural, possibly.
oh well, I mean that's if I.
Is it a done deal?
I mean, it's a done deal. Like
Okay,
they asked
then
me to
talk
do,
about it,
but
girl.
I haven't done it yet. So,
Where
But
is
you
it?
got booked.
yeah, but I haven't been paid or
You don't
signed
want to
anything.
jinx it yet, or is that?
Yeah, so Alex is one of my mentors, and then one of my other really big mentors who is awesome and has been trying to get me to go into like mural work and street art for forever is Pete Walliger, who did Eyes. And I guess he recommended me to this dispensary, and I know the name. It's like Dungeon of Dank, which is an awesome name.
Sweet.
But they're a dispensary out in Troy, Missouri, and they're moving to a new location in St. Peter's. And so they have like these 4 doors that they want, I think 3 different local artists to each paint a door. And so Pete recommended me to them. And I'm like, I don't even smoke weed, but that's awesome. I'll do it. Like, so it's me, and then Justin Tolentino,
Nice.
and then I think Pete.
I love his stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about them last time.
Yeah, I
and
love
his-
his
We love Justin.
Yeah.
He's curating the next Art Fusion show, so
Sweet.
I'm excited to see that.
Quickly, did we talk about Craig,
No?
John, and Mark? Do you
No.
want to briefly talk
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah. So, okay. Once upon a time, I was a West County mom, and I didn't know anybody in the St. Louis art community at all. But I was in I went showed at Soulard, and that's how I met and like discovered Craig Downs. And I started showing in a lot of Craig's shows at Coconut Art Factory. And Craig really was like the first person that took me under his, like actively took me under his wing, much like I did with Kimberlyn. He like adopted me, and like, he's like, okay, these are the things you're going to learn. And I learned how to bag and tag and promote and install work and social media and brand consistency. And like, I was like his apprentice, unpaid. It was an internship before being, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I got to paint with him on a couple of his murals in Maplewood. And, so Craig was like the first time that I was like, he was in his late 50s and I was 30, and I just was just like, and I was like, he's amazing. Like, much like Henrik and Phil, to me, like Craig is one of the pinnacle like pillars of the St. Louis art community. And, so I helped Craig run some of his shows. And then now fast forward, years later, and I met Mark Witzling and John Salazzo, and I've really become close friends with both of them. And I just cannot tell you how much I love and adore John Salazzo. We get lunch or dinner, just the two of us, pretty much every other month, every 3 months. And, and then sometimes me and Mark and John will all get together and hang out. But, whenever I was first starting out, I was like, oh, okay, John did a painting of robots. Am I allowed to do a painting of robots? And he's like, I don't own robots. Do a painting of a robot. Like, he's so sweet and humble, but his realism is just unbelievable. Recently he did a painting of two goldfish in a jar, and it looks so, I know it looks so real, but he's just blows my mind. But no, I would say the last like 5 years, John and Mark have really they encourage me and remind me to just do what I do and not worry about what other people think. And I met Mark whenever I was on the board of directors with Meisler, and I first met John 10 years ago. I never met John, and he was, oh shoot, what was the name of that gallery down on Dalmar? It closed. Was it Serendipity? Was that the name of it?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it.
It was on the
Let's call-
pageant end.
Yeah, let's call it Serendipity.
But I'd never met John, and I walked in and there were all these robots and laser guns and spaceships, and I was like, who is this guy? But now, now they're two of my close
It's kind of
friends.
almost, I love that's really that what John said is almost like the Warhol quote: while they're judging it, don't worry about it, just keep making more.
Yeah. But so, I mean, the three of them, and then Vicki Friedman. Vicki Friedman was the executive director of Arts is Healing. And I really considered her like, my maternal, I had these three men, and Vicki Friedman was like my female mentor. She was so sweet and kind, and so no, I know from experience what a positive influence they've all had on me, and
it makes a difference.
I want to share that. I want to give that to other people.
That's awesome. Kimberlyn and Alex and Pete. Anybody else mentors for you?
Yeah. I really all of the, and I don't know if I talked about it, but one of the other kind of guilds I'm in is the St. Louis Ladies Artist Guild, and we go by SLAG because we think it's funny. But the 4 founding members. I won't keep it relatively family friendly, so I won't tell you what acronym Jackie wanted to make it to. But the 4 founding members are really also talking about like maternal mentors. So it's Molly Chenard, Jackie Rabbit, Beth Robinson, and Mindy Cook, and they've all been just amazing. I've never really at any point in my life been a part of such a large group of women where there's no drama. It's all support for one another. It's all kindness. It's all, really lifting each other up. And I think what they've built with that is really something that's important for the St. Louis community, just to have a space for women artists to, not that there aren't amazing men artists around, but to have our own space and to kind of get away from some of the BS that can go on.
Sure. Jackie's work's incredible.
Oh, yeah. She has no idea how good she is either. She's another one that's way too humble, but
I like some of the tattoos that she's covering up one that somebody didn't like, and it's unbelievable.
Speaking of realism in tattoo, she
crazy
like fine art, but in tattoo form is just.
And I want you guys to know that Steve and I have taken Juan under our wing.
He always looks like a deer in the headlights every time you mention him.
Really?
And the doors are really flying open for him right now.
Yeah.
So
I heard you guys say that like Juan does most of the work.
that might be a good note to leave on.
Maybe.
We've taken
What are you
Juan
talking
under
about?
our wing.
I'm leading with that one right there. Juan deserves all credit.
Juan is a great asset to the Gogh-Getters.
Yeah. I think we are getting pretty close to time, and we've taken up a lot of your time. It's getting dark outside in the US.
Thank you all for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being our first guest.
One more. I just have one more question. You can answer this in any way.
Okay.
And I just made this up today. And
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be a thing.
Okay.
But I'm going to call it, what's your dream hang? Where in the world would you love to see your work on the wall?
Oh.
Could be here. Could be like local St.
That's a
Louis
great
region.
question.
Could be anywhere in the world. Or it could be next to somebody else. Like, what's your dream hang?
Oh, God. Next to somebody else I know for sure would be Ron English, because he's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Everywhere, anywhere I can show my work is my dream. I'm just happy for people to see it.
That's a really good answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great answer.
I think in St. Louis, my dream hang right now is Square One in the Central West End. I know Ted and I've met Tate, and I'm just like, that's like one of my horizon goals right now is to.
They have great shows.
Yeah, I wanna be in that white room.
It's very white.
It's very white, but no, yeah.
Awesome.
But no, I mean, my goals, I'd love to hopefully. One of my plans is I'd like to be in like San Diego, San Francisco. Like that's like where I see myself like heading. That's like my part of my 5-year goal is to have my work out there. There's a few galleries that I've visited and where I feel like my work would go over well. So that's That's a dream.
I think you guys can do anything you guys want.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
That's a good note to end on.
It is.
I think that's a. I honestly believe that
Yeah.
Thank you.
if you work hard enough and have talent like you two, you can do whatever you want.
I love us hearing those answers to aspirational questions because it's like, yeah, it's something you can achieve. We can all do that. We can all go to San Diego or hang with Ted or whatever. It's like, there's no reason why we can't, right? We just need to work towards it, and it keeps us moving forward. But April 10th through June 14th, you get to hang with us.
Yay.
We're so excited
next
to
Friday
have you on
night,
our
a week
walls.
from Friday
A
night.
week from
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but yeah.
There will be an acoustic guitar player that night from 5 to 8. They will also from 5 to 8 have flatbreads and salads and things like that for purchase. People want to come there and eat and catch the show, catch some music. All of that is available.
The acoustic guitarist is from 5 to 8, and our show is from 7 to 9.
Yes.
Got
And it's not loud. So it should be nice atmosphere.
Like
It'd be great.
some Eagles.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
Probably.
Hope it's right.
Some Slipknot acoustic.
Yeah.
There we go. I would be interested.
Well, thanks so much for spending
yeah.
time with the Go-Getters. We love you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
We're so
Love you.
excited for your show.
Thank
Thank you, guys.
We're excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So let's get going.
All right.